Another Jedson. We had one of these about a year ago, and this is, well, I think much nicer. A quick heads up, there will be no show on Saturday. It's going to be Wednesday only for the next few weeks. But back to the Jedson. Let's have a listen to this first, and I'll say what I can. So let's go. Pickup time, and starting with the Maxon, very unusually marked. Usually there's like a serial number that also gives away the date, but this is 22X14. You'll see a picture back here. So if you know what that means, please write in and let me know. So starting with the bridge on the noisy or distorted setting. Sounds like 1970. That's the centre. Awesome. Onto the neck. Let's see how it cleans up. Again, starting with the bridge. Really nice. Those Maxon pickups are very good. And onto the neck. So intonation. Yeah, we're not in bad company here. So let's have a jolly good look round it. Jedson, or John E. Dallas and Sons, have been around for a long time, certainly since the early 1900s, and they produced all sorts of instruments. But in '69, they certainly sent designs to the Tysco company, which actually had been, by that time, had been bought out by Kawaii. And I think that most of the instruments were made then at the Fuji Gen factory in Matsumoto. But certainly they had their names on the top of several excellent instruments, and this one is no exception. It is brilliant, and it has got a slightly different design than the one that we had a look at last year. So let's have a look. Headstock with the open book design, which obviously after 1975 you couldn't have had anyway, but they'd folded by 1975, only making guitars, electric guitars, between 69 and 74. It's quite typical really of electric guitar copies from that era. Nice rosewood fingerboard with binding on it, and I don't know if they're acrylic or proper shell inlays, but they look very nice anyway. Around the back you've got those cap tuners that people moan about, and even though they do feel less refined perhaps than some of the more modern, your Grovers and Gleasons and whatever, they do the job absolutely perfectly well. As you can see, we've got at least a 3-piece neck, which, looking at the cavity inside, would indicate that it's made of maple. It's very light wood, it's not a dark wood, but maple is a common material to use for guitar necks. And it's a bolt-on neck, yeah, but I've never seen one of those before. It's just got, obviously, a little plate, tells you it's made in Japan on the plate, and 2 screws in there. Well, it's not held on just by 2 screws, because inside here there's a really, really long tenon joint that is bolted onto the body. So obviously these screws are going through the outside of the body into the neck, and the tenon is bolted down from inside the pickup cavity just here. And there are 2 further bolts there, so, and the tenon is well, obviously you can see the neck finishes here, and this is down here, so it's a very nice bit of engineering. John Dallas himself was in fact a master carpenter. So the body, I'm not sure what it's made of, but the wood is dark. It could well be mahogany, and it doesn't look like plywood. As you can tell from the seam in the centre, you can see that where it's a lighter colour. It's what they call either sandwich or pancake, isn't it, style body. So you've got a lump of wood on the top, and then, now I'm saying, and then a different type of wood in the middle, and then another lump of wood on the back there to make up the whole thing. But that line around the body could just quite simply be an inlay or part of the veneer, because certainly the cap, beautiful, isn't it? The cap is a veneer which can easily be seen from inside the pickup cavity. We've got Maxon pickups, and this is how they came originally, one in a sort of cage and one with a common type of humbucker shroud. You've got 4 witches, hats, knobs, 2 volumes up, 2 tones down, stock tail and tunematic with plastic saddles. And it plays, binding, of course, yes, we've got binding and a scratch plate and a toggle switch in the usual place. Exhaust pipe has been quite obviously replaced. I suppose you could probably find something to take that back to original, but it does the job, and you obviously can't see it when it's on like this. I would imagine that I think they're made of plastic, so it'll have cracked, and they'll just use whatever there was. And it might even be feeling it. It might even be glued on that. There's screws in it, but anyway, the string height is where I like it at 1.25 on the high E at the 12th fret, and it's about 2 on the bass side. That's another thing about the Tunematic bridge. It takes a really big fat Allen key in there to adjust it. I've not seen on those before. So a couple of new little versions of what goes on with design and fit and finish for me. But I think it's Maxon pickups which are popping out late 7s for the bridge and really knocking on the door of 8 for the neck pickup. And so they're beautifully balanced and, in my opinion, very, very fabulously voiced. So I think that's it for the Jedson. So don't forget, I won't see you on Saturday, but I will see you next Wednesday as per. So thank you all ever so much for tuning in. As always, I shall look forward to seeing you next week. Adios, amigos. Ta-ra.